Hi, this is Mrs. Robertson, and this is for my Math 7 class. Today we are going to start our unit in geometry, and we're going to be working with the angles. So open your book up to page 535. We're going to be doing lesson 1 today. Now you should have already completed it's called an arithmetic test. It doesn't count as a test score, but it will go into the classwork section of Infinite Campus. So I hope you do a nice job. Once again, you are not allowed to use a calculator, and you will see those again in the future to make sure you know your computation skills. All right, well, you should have finished that, and now we're going to talk about this lesson. We're going to start off with a vocabulary word. It says an angle is formed by two rays that share a common endpoint. The vertex is the point where the two rays meet. It says complete the table by drawing the hands of a clock to represent each angle. All right, 90 degrees. Now there are many ways you could do a 90-degree angle. It's a right angle. I'm doing one that says 3 o'clock. All right, less than 90 degrees, I'm going to choose 2 o'clock. Greater than 90 degrees, I think I will choose 4 o'clock. And 180 degrees, I will choose 6 o'clock. All right, now over here are the vocabulary words that you're going to need to know with this unit, and we'll talk about those today. Vertex, right angle, acute angle, obtuse angle, which we've already discussed those, straight angle, and vertical angle, congruent, and adjacent angles. And then we also have symbols here. This represents an angle, and this will represent the word congruent. All right, the angle formed by a bike ramp is shown. What type of angle is formed? That is an acute angle. It is less than 90 degrees. Estimate the measure of the angle. Well, if you straightened it out, that would be a 90-degree angle. It's less than 45 because 45 would be half of a 90-degree angle. I'm going to guesstimate around 30 degrees. That would be my guess on that. Maybe even less, maybe 20 to 30 degrees. All right, now let's go on to the next page, 536. On page 536, we have the words vertical and congruent. Two angles are vertical if they are opposite angles formed by the intersection of two lines. Vertical angles are congruent or have the same measure. Congruent means same measure. So here in this picture, angles 1 and 3 are vertical angles. They have the same measure. And then angles 2 and 4 are also vertical angles. It says, two angles are adjacent if they share a common vertex and a common side and do not overlap. So adjacent angles 1, 2. Angles 1 and 2 share this ray. Angles 2 and 3 share this ray. Angles 3 and 4 share this ray. They are adjacent. And angles 4 and 1 are adjacent. They share that ray. Okay, let's go on and do the examples. At any time, if I'm going too fast, you may stop this and catch up. Number 1, name the angle shown at the right. Then classify it as acute, obtuse, or straight. All right, it says use the vertex as the middle letter. All right, Y is always going to be your middle letter when talking about angles. Use the vertex only for angle Y. You can do that when there are no other angles involved. That's the only angle, so you could do angle Y. Use a number 1. Here it is numbered, it is angle 1. Since the angle is less than 90 degrees, it is acute. So now let's go down below and do A, B, and C. It says name each angle in 4 ways. Then classify each angle as acute, right, obtuse, or straight. All right, so what they want you to do for this one is angle, that's the symbol for angle, A, B, C. I could call it angle B. I could call it angle 2. Let's see. Oh, I could also call it CBA. Angle CBA. And now I've renamed it 4 ways. Now, it has the box in it that indicates that it is a right angle. Now let's go to the next one. This one, angle RST, angle TSR. Now, if you are not putting the angle symbol in, this would be counted wrong on a quiz or a test because it has to have the angle symbol in order to be an angle. Otherwise, it's 3 points. Now, this one is angle S and angle 3. This is greater than 90 degrees, so it is an obtuse angle. OBTUSE. All right, so letter C, angle LMN, angle NML, angle M, and angle 4. Now, another thing, these are all capital letters. Therefore, you must use capital letters when talking about these angles. For the next part, let's do, it's a straight angle. It makes a straight line. That's how it gets the name, straight angle. Now let's go on to example 2. In example number 2, we have a road with intersections. It says identify a pair of vertical angles adjacent angles in the diagram at the right. Justify your response. All right. Since angle 2 and angle 4 excuse me, are opposite angles formed by the intersection of 2 lines, they are vertical angles. Since angle 1 and angle 2 share a common side and vertex, and they do not overlap, they are adjacent angles. All right. Got it? Let's find out. D. Refer to the diagram in example 1. Identify different pairs of vertical and adjacent angles. Okay, so vertical angles, they've already used 2 and 4, so I'm going to use angle 1 and 3. Vertical angles. They are opposite of each other. Why? They are opposite. Therefore, they would be vertical. And it wants adjacent angles. I'm going to choose 3 and 4. They share a side and vertex point because it asks for justification. They share a ray and vertex point, and they do not overlap. Okay, once again, if I'm going too fast, please feel free to pause at any time. This next part is not too hard for you guys, but it's probably the most challenging part of today's lesson, example 3. You can use what you learned about vertical and adjacent angles to find the value of a missing measure. Okay, it says, what is the value of x in the figure? It says the angle labeled 2x plus 2 and the angle labeled 130 are vertical angles. They are opposite one another. So we can just write the equation 2x plus 2 equals 130. Then you just solve your equation and you can solve for x, which is what they did. All right, 2x plus 2 equals 130, subtract 2, divide by 2, and the value of x is 64. Now, in example E, it says, what is the value of y in the figure? Well, for y, we know that this angle is a vertical angle to that one. So we're just going to set up our equation stating that. So you have 3 times y minus 10 is equal to 50 degrees. Now it's a simple two-step equation to solve for y. Add 10. You then have 3 times y equals 60, and then divide by 3. Your answer will be y equals 20 degrees. Now, kids, I expect you at this point to show your answers like this. They show them to you like this in the example. Therefore, when you do your homework, you're expected to communicate your knowledge by writing an equation and solving it correctly, and by not skipping any steps. 20 degrees. I will be checking this tomorrow to make sure that you are showing your work and you are following along on the directions. All right, now let's go to example number 4. In example 4, what is the value of x shown in the sidewalk? Okay, so the angle labeled 115 degrees and the angle labeled 5x are adjacent angles. Together, they form a straight angle. So these are special adjacent angles that form a straight angle. You can tell this angle plus this angle equals a straight line. And there are 180 degrees in a straight line. So, you have 115 plus 5x equals 180. Subtract 115. You then have 5x equals 65. Divide by 5. And the answer is the value of x equals 13. Let's do the guided practice. Number 1. Name the angle below in 4 ways. Then classify it. Well, angle DEF, angle FED, angle 2, and angle E. And it is an acute angle. Number 2, find the value of x. Well, these are opposite angles and they are vertical angles, so they are equal to each other. 100 degrees equals 2x plus 4. Now you could have said 2x plus 4 equals 100 also. Subtract 4, 96 equals 2 times x. Divide both sides by 2. And the answer that you will get for this one will be 48. 48 equals x. All right, in problem number 3, it says identify a pair of vertical angles and adjacent angles on the railroad crossing sign. Justify your response. Well, there are several. I'm going to say angle 3 and angle 1. Now you have to say angle 3 and angle 1 are vertical angles. And adjacent angle would be angle 2 and angle 1. Now there are many that you could choose. They share, because it also says justify your response. So angle 2 and angle 1 are adjacent angles. And why are they an adjacent angle? They share a ray, vertex, and do not overlap. Angle 3 and angle 1 are vertical angles because they are opposite angles formed by intersecting lines. Opposite angles formed by intersecting lines. Intersecting lines. All right. Now, question 4, describe the difference between vertical and adjacent angles. Basically, we just did that right up there. Vertical angles are opposite angles formed by intersecting lines. Adjacent angles are angles that share a ray, vertex, and do not overlap. Now, what is going to be your homework for tonight? Your homework assignment for this evening is going to be to do the independent practice, page 539, all. It's not going to take long to do these. Do not skip these problems on 10 and 11, very important. Make sure they're going to equal each other and you solve for x. These are like example 3. All right, then I also want you to do number 12. Draw some of you like to draw, so do number 13. And I also would like for you to do, where's the next page? Here it is. On page 541, I would like for you to do all on this page. Do 18 to 24. So let's go back over that. 539 all, page 540, you are only doing questions 12 and 13. And then page 541, 18 to 24. Once again, these are all pretty easy problems and you shouldn't have any difficulty with them. Oh, make sure that you grade your homework from yesterday. There was the 2 problems on the worksheet, or there was a worksheet. There was a problem on each side with multiple parts. The answers are in your math book or in the Canvas calendar. I think it's under yesterday's date. So please make sure you grade that and show all of your work on how to do that. That should have been something that you can make sure you do and have done before tomorrow. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.